Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Double Feature Podcast episode 16.
That's right. Today you are joined by a literal Frankenstein's monster right now, me. I've been sick as a dog these past few days. It's been horrible, but
Wow.
you get through it. Yeah. Lemsip, paracetamol, they're my friends right now.
Right, okay. It's
Don't you get making any more jokes like you did in the weapons one. You're gonna edit. He's gonna do another edit, isn't he? You tosser. But yeah, how have you been? Are you feeling ill? Are you feeling okay?
I'm fine. Please don't give me your illness tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we've seen it. We are seeing each other in person tomorrow, but
Oh
that's besides
yeah.
the point. Uh, this episode of the podcast, we've got Frankenstein. Obviously, that's the movie we're covering. It's Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, which is the first streaming movie we're covering, isn't it? Because it's had a limited theatrical run, but it's mainly a Netflix exclusive. This film is
Yeah. Yeah.
so. So there's that. Of course, you've got our part one stuff that we're going to be talking about. And in part three, we are going back a little bit to something we did a few of the earlier episodes. We're covering a franchise this time. We're going to cover the Indiana Jones films, all five of them. So yeah, let's crack on. So let's go part one, all the recent movie and media news that we've
Yeah,
got. What have we
sure.
got?
After you.
Just eating a muffin. Just
Bro, I haven't eaten yet today and I ran a 5K this morning.
why didn't you eat before? You could have told me that.
Can't eat before.
Okay, so whilst Mr. L enjoys his breakfast muffin, I'm gonna talk about some of the movie and TV and media news that I've had. So first off, a movie that I have seen recently, a new release, Regretting You. It's not my kind of film. What? I can't take this guy seriously. Just eating his muffin. What? Why is he doing this?
Man's gotta eat, bro. We're recording into lunchtime.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's it. Let me just crack on with this. So, Regretting You, it's in recent romantic comedy. It's based on, I think, Colleen Hoover's books. She wrote It Ends With Us. If you remember that film from last year with Blake Lively,
Oh yeah.
had a lot of controversy about it. That film did. But this kind of in that similar genre. Like, it's not my kind of thing. I went with my friends, so that explains
Mm.
everything. This film,
Ah, yes,
just got
the
to accept it.
infamous friend.
Yes, we know. But this film, it was actually kind of entertaining, just probably not in the way it was intended to be. But
Okay.
at least it wasn't a horrible film. But it was really not my kind of thing generally at all. But there is that. Next up, so that's obviously a new film. We've also got some cinema re-releases that I want to talk about. A couple of obviously for like anniversary milestones, films will get re-released in cinemas. We've talked about that, I think, with The Mummy. You talked about that a while back, didn't you?
Oh yes, yeah. I
For
remember
its
going to see that
25th
one.
anniversary or something. Yeah,
Oh yes, that would have been last year. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but there's a couple. So we've had the Back to the Future 40th anniversary re-release. Obviously, one of my favorite films. I didn't go and see this because I had rewatched it early this year, and also timing and whatnot. But I didn't go and see. But obviously, I know a lot of people who did, and it's just an amazing film. And then there's another one which I should have mentioned last episode, but I forgot to, and it's a Bond re-release, GoldenEye. It's 30th anniversary. Obviously, Pierce Brosnan's first Bond film came out 1995. It's one of the absolute best. It's the one Bond film that I think everybody would enjoy, and it covers everything. It covers all bases, and I loved it. And getting to see a Bond film like a proper classic Bond film in the cinema for me was very special. So I'll take that. And I should have mentioned it last episode, but I just completely forgot to. So there's that. But yeah, I haven't really done a cinema re-release like that before. Like yeah, you've done it with The Mummy, and I think some others haven't you?
Oh yeah, I did the entire Rocky series just after COVID ended. They released all of them back in cinema. I did it for Jurassic
Yeah.
Park, The Mummy, whole bunch of Arnold's movies.
Yeah, I think. Did you mention the Terminator was one you did?
I think the
Am I?
Terminator, Predator, I think maybe Commando. All the kind
Yeah,
of classics.
Yeah, of the 80s, of the 80s classics he did.
Yeah, they're actually doing one
Um,
at my cinema soon. They're redoing all five Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
well, we'll finish to mention that because I've been watching through those recently.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Yeah, I've
noticed. I
still got
saw your
the
October ranking on your post on YouTube.
yeah,
I might go to cinema to watch two and three again. I love those two.
fair. They are the best ones in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm still yet to see five, but hopefully I'll get around to that soon.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I always like the kind of cinema re-release. I've always kind of wanted to do them properly, but I think there's the whole thing of I guess if it's a film that already get on streaming or DVD, it's like why go to the cinema to watch it? But that seeing GoldenEye on the big screen was like, yeah, that's the reason why, because it's meant for the big screen, and just
yeah.
seeing that is something quite special. There
It's
is a,
like,
especially if it's a film that you love and a franchise or
oh yeah.
an actor or whatever that you love. There is definitely some value to that.
I think I told you like last year I went to watch The Rock at the cinema, and that was very
Yes,
different
I
on the
remember
big
that.
screen. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was much it's just there's something different about seeing it at a cinema, you know. It's got that vibe
especially
to
like
it.
big, especially like big action blockbusters like that. That there is a lot of value to seeing them, on the big screen and whatnot. And the okay, and the other bit of that's all that out of the way. And the other bit of news I want to briefly mention, Doctor Who's coming back apparently. Yeah, he does not give a shit about this, do you? You don't care about Doctor Who. Translation, he doesn't care. Um,
No, I mean I've never watched it, but I just I'm eating a protein brownie.
I can see that. I can see that. Okay.
But no,
I,
that's cool. But is it
yeah.
the same Doctor again, or are they doing another new Doctor now?
Well, because the whole thing, because the end of the last season was an absolute shit show. Basically, like Shooty Gatwa, he regenerated into Billy Piper, who played the first companion of the revival, Rose. Um, Nobody knows what was going on with that. It's not made clear. They're all kind of teasing. It's like, oh, is she the new like the production team? I mean, they were kind of like, oh, who is Billy Piper playing? Is she really the Doctor? Is she not? Let's find out and they get more. It's like I don't care because I don't think you knew because that recent season was plagued with like very clearly plagued with troubled production and like reshoots and all that sort of stuff. Um, and with the whole Disney Plus deal, because that Disney have now backed out of the show and it's just with the BBC now. Um, so basically, so Doctor Who's coming back Christmas 2026. RTD Rossi Davis, he's writing a Christmas special. I'm assuming to kind of, I've done a video on this actually, so I can get more. If anyone's interested, watch that for more thoughts and on that sort of news. But my theory is that it will very much be RTD will come back to write this Christmas special in 2026 to kind of tie up all the loose ends from this era and then move on.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. It's fair around, he was the writer who brought Doctor Who back in 2005, so 20 years ago. And you
Wow.
just, you need new people. You can't just rely on the same talent for that long.
Yeah,
It's just, it's why the show has just been completely stagnant, or has felt incredibly stagnant, you know, recently. So, frankly, I don't quite know what's going on, like fully, but all we know is that it's coming back Christmas 2026 for an episode, and then beyond that, who knows?
who knows? Still a
Uh,
while to
who
wait though.
knows?
It's like
Yeah,
13 months.
yeah. I know. I mean, Doctor Who fans have we've learned how to wait because we have to. There's always gap years and whatnot, but that's the thing. I think it's again like another gap year. It's just like there's no consistency recently. Don't feel like there's been. It's just a bit of a yeah. The show's just a bit of a lull at the minute. So we'll see. But that's all I've got for my part one stuff. Have you stopped eating now so you could talk about your part one stuff?
I have in fact stopped eating.
Good. Okay. If we're playing this game,
Glug glug glug.
gulp.
All right, here we go.
A
Part
big
one.
gulp.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hey.
part one. Okay, I've got a few things. I've seen one movie in the cinema since last episode. I watched Black Phone 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, this was a follow-up to like what was it? 2019, 2020
21.
ish 21. 21
I think so, yeah.
movie. with Ethan Hawke as a guy who kidnaps children, and he kidnaps this one kid, and the kid can converse with previous victims via a disconnected telephone. Um, so this one,
Sorry, just so
are you good?
nonchalantly. It's a movie about Ethan Hawke kidnapping children. I know that's the plot, but you just say it so nonchalantly.
But but the sequel, the kid survived the grabber. He's grown up a bit, but there's still kind of something lurking around. You know, there's still phones ringing. His sister's still having dreams about kids who have gone missing, and so they go to a um, they go to like a camp in the middle of a snowstorm to try and like figure out the kind of the mysteries of these other missing kids that she's been dreaming about. Really good film. It's the first time in a while I've actually seen a standing ovation from some of the audience.
Wow,
And not
really?
ironically either, not like Minecraft or anything. Like
Yeah, yeah.
genuinely, like the
Genuinely?
people at the back were standing up and applauding at the end.
I've never. That's.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. But it
Wouldn't
was
have
just
expected that for Black Phone 2.
no, I mean me neither, but it was pretty good to be fair. Like I mean horror movies are usually pretty good. Occasionally there's a few lower ones, like I think Wolfman was Blumhouse,
Yeah.
but usually Blumhouse horror movies are solid. But I'd say this is possibly on the better end of those. Yeah, really good. Really love the kind of
I definitely.
Black Phone
Sorry.
duology we've got here. Would be up for would be up for another sequel.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Like I did, because I remember the first one coming out. I might check these out because it's
Mhm.
the same director as the first Doctor Strange, Scott Derrickson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. But I don't know, like Blumhouse do have they have a solid track record with a lot of their horror movies,
Oh
but
yeah.
also I think a lot like throughout the 2010s they really had quite a lot of great hits. There's a lot of great stuff to come out, whether it was like kind of highbrow stuff like Get Out, us like Jordan Peele stuff, Split, or whether it's stuff like I don't know, like it's like slashers like Happy Death Day, um, stuff like that. Like I think they generally have quite a good track record with horror movies. So maybe this could be a good new franchise.
Possibly.
Something new to kind of keep sort of stick with. That could be something.
See, I feel like horror is one of the genres that's easiest to fumble, and so sometimes it's
Yeah.
like not everyone's going to be a hit, but in general, Blumhouse are usually pretty good track record. They're usually pretty reliable for a good movie.
I mean, it's you say like horror is often the easiest genre to fumble. Look at why do you think a lot of first time filmmakers their first film is a horror movie because it's very easy to make. Like you got the tropes, you kind of everyone knows how
Yeah.
to make a horror movie basically. Um, but I think it's when they get it right that it just becomes amazing.
Mm. But it's also so easy to get those wrong. Like you can make it feel too
Yeah,
cheesy if it's not scary enough, or if it's like too scary, people don't want to watch it. It's very easy
but
to kind
also
of like kind of miss the mark with a horror. But when you get it right, you can do really
yeah.
good with it.
Yeah, it's just making sure it doesn't feel like sort of cheap and sort of lazy and rushed
Mm.
because a lot of them can feel
Especially with
like that and like
sequels,
very
especially
generic.
horror
Yeah.
sequels.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them had way too many sequels. I'm looking at
Like when you
Halloween, Friday
Friday the
13th.
13th. I watched the OG Friday the 13th recently. That
So did
was dog
I.
shit.
Oh
It
God,
was
yeah.
even
Yeah.
with Jason's mum as the killer.
What
That
do you mean Jason's not even in the movie?
well, there's a little swamp boy at the end.
Yeah, but what do you mean he's not the main killer? And then the
Yeah,
second movie, I watched the second one as well. What do you mean he doesn't wear the hockey mask yet? What?
yeah. He looks like
Crazy.
one of them dick. He looks like one of them dickheads from Django Unchained, the KKK lot in Django Unchained, with the bags on their
The
heads.
JJJ.
Oh no, but honestly, the original Friday the 13th is absolute dog shit.
Oh, it is not great.
Like it, like I'm not like I like my slower paced movies. I don't mind slow paced movies, but that takes the piss because nothing happens. It is the most banal, dull, lifeless. Nothing happens.
I mean,
It's
I
just
can't even say the
people.
acting is great either.
I know it's shit. The only one is good is Betsy Palmer, who plays Jason's mother, she's actually quite good. I quite liked her. And a young Kevin Bacon's in the movie, and that was kind of fun because
Yeah.
we know who Kevin Bacon is,
Yeah.
and he probably gets one of the best deaths with the spear in the neck.
Mm, yeah.
Um, but there's just like scenes of them just like making coffee for like 2 minutes. I was like, what are you doing? Like, there's no atmosphere built. It's so flat and drab, and it's just scenes go on and on with nothing happening. This is not building tension. It's just padding. It's wasting time.
I do want to watch the other movies that I do want to see if they get better, but the number
They're
three
pro-
isn't on
I
any
don't know.
sort of streaming at the moment.
Yeah.
But because I
I
know
mean,
there's like 12 of these movies.
yeah. There's a kind of a select few that I want to watch. I really want to watch them. Was it Jason Takes Manhattan, where he goes to New York? Kind of want to watch that just for a piss take. I kind of do want to watch that one. Um, but yeah.
But yeah,
Or
so you
Jason
know,
X, or Jason X, where he goes to space.
yeah, Space Jason. Yeah,
For God's
yeah, you
sake.
know, I kind of want to watch them all just to see where it goes. But
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, some of them are.
continuing on horror though, I
Yeah.
haven't watched any of it yet, but there is a new TV show based on It that's come out. Welcome to
Yes.
Derry.
The
That's on my
prequel
watch
series. Yeah.
list. Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard good things, so I will be checking that out soon. I just haven't got around to it yet. I've had a few other things to get for. I just finished the
That's
Alien
fair.
TV series.
Oh, Alien Earth, is it?
Alien Earth, yeah, I just wrapped that one
That's
up,
one.
which was pretty decent. I've just the next one actually I'm going to segue on to is I've also started watching season 2 of Squid Game: The Challenge. That's the real life
Oh
version of
yeah.
Squid Game.
Oh yeah.
I was going to apply. Applications were last summer, but you had to be 21 at time of application. I was 20. But if they do a season
Ah,
3,
he can do it.
I can do it.
We might see Mr. L on TV.
Yeah, maybe. But it's been pretty good so far. There's a lot of things I love about the real life version because there are things that happen that you just cannot do when it's scripted. Like the most random, unpredictable things will happen. And you know, it's interesting as well just seeing how people react to the situation and how people will treat each other and everything. It's an interesting social aspect to it.
Yeah.
In a similar vein, Korea came up with another similar show to Squid Game. That's a real life show, but instead of children's game, it's physical fitness games, and but obviously you don't die. And so there's a show called Physical 100 that's been out for 2 seasons. I really like
Yeah.
it. You know, they get 100 really fit Koreans to do these fitness based challenges and to kind of figure out who the fittest and like most perfect person is. Now this year they've done
100 fit Koreans. Come on.
no, like proper fit, like you know,
Yeah,
fitness.
like
Yeah,
athletic,
yeah,
healthy.
fit.
Yeah.
Uh
You're not helping yourself here. You're not helping yourself.
but this now they've done Physical Asia, and so the premise of this one is that
Mhm.
8 different countries have a team of 6, and they compete in these games, and they against each other. They're
Yeah.
releasing it in batches. I got to wait until this Tuesday for some more episodes. But you know, so they got Korea, Thailand, Mongolia, Turkey, Australia, the Philippines, did I say Indonesia and Japan are all against each other, and they have to compete in these events and everything. And I think it's really cool because you know it's got kind of that Squid Game kind of structure to it. But it's
Yeah.
amazing the things that they can do. Like I'm not going to spoil too much, but there is one challenge. They had to they had to like hold these massive statues up between them and like keep them held, and they were holding them for like 20 minutes and onwards, and they
Um,
just yeah, you know, it was crazy stuff. Like they do some very impressive stuff, and that's on Netflix. And so,
I see. Yeah.
but yeah, really great show. Obviously, there is dubbed version because most of them don't speak English. Obviously, there's an
Oh
Australian
yeah.
team this year, so they speak English, but the others need dubbing. But really great show. Really looking forward to seeing the rest of that. There's more episodes this Tuesday and then the Tuesday after.
Oh yeah. That sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Next thing I've got is some movie announcements. Um, I can't believe they actually announced this before GTA 6 comes out, but we're getting another Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Where it's actually happening. It's actually happening after this long. And I've heard rumor that it's going to ignore the events of the third movie and it's going to be just acknowledge the first two. which is good because
So is
obviously
this
they
going to be?
cast
Is this
someone
good?
else as Evelyn in the third movie, and third movie didn't do as well. But yeah, it's just really cool to see that finally doing another Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser in. It's gonna be good
That'd be
stuff.
good. It'd be good to see, like, obviously return to like the iconic role of his.
Yeah.
I've really got to watch the 1999 Mummy
I
film at
watched
some
it the
point.
like the other week, and oh, it's so good.
I've really got
So
to watch it
good.
because I know how much you love that one.
Oh
So I've
yeah, that
got
was
to,
one of my favorite movies when I was younger.
yeah, still is, I guess.
Yeah, it still is. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah,
of other movies now that I also
yeah,
love, but like before like Infinity War and Endgame, I think probably
yeah.
before Pacific Rim even, Mummy. And I only watched the
No,
movie because I went on the roller coaster at Universal. So
I mean, that's one way to. But I do really want to watch it, mainly because I know how much you love that film. So I do
yeah.
want to watch it.
Another movie announcement. Obviously, global phenomenon K-pop Demon Hunters came out this year, and they've announced a
It
sequel
did.
coming in 2029. It's a long way
And we're
away.
still. Could you imagine if we're still doing the podcast at that time?
I'm spotlighting it. I don't care. I'm
Yeah. What?
spotlighting it.
So the podcast could have ended by that time, and we just like bring it back for one episode. It's like
If we had
after
to.
God knows how long,
Yeah. But hopefully we'll still be running by then, but I want to spotlight
Hopefully,
it.
yeah, we will. Yeah, just a one-off special. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool that it's getting a sequel though, and I'm not surprised.
Oh no, me neither. It's done so well. I'm glad they're taking their time to cook though, and they're gonna make sure it's
Yeah,
good and they're not gonna rush it. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that pretty much wraps up part one, but I do actually have a special guest on the line with us, a little special cameo, so just give me a second to ring him up.
You are.
I've got a guest on the cameo for the show. I've got a guest.
What do you mean?
Hi, this is me, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We
What was that for?
Hello,
What was that about?
got Arnold Schwarzenegger on the line.
who are you?
Arnie.
I'm Mr. Allen, that's Danny, and we do the podcast together. The Dub Feature podcast that you're on. Say hi to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hi, Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's
Who
going
is your daddy and what does he do?
on? What's going on?
Stop whining. Stop it. Stop
What's going
that. You
on? I
keep
don't.
cocaine. Could I speak to the drug dealer of the house, please? Get to the
Am
chopper!
I
I've
having a?
got an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard.
I was having a stroke then. What's going on? I thought you'd got like
I
some
hope you leave
AI
enough
or
room for
something,
my
like some
fist
AI
because I'm going to
impersonator
ram
or
it into
something.
your stomach and break your goddamn spine!
Where's that come?
One
Where'd you
of
get
us
that
is
from?
in deep trouble.
Yeah, so it turns out you can go on, you can just search up Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, go to the one on realmofdarkness.net, Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, actually, kind of fitting because obviously Arnie was in one of his 80s movies, The Running Man, which has got a remake recently, directed by Edgar Wright. So, kind of relevant.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be watching that when it comes out.
We watched it. I almost suggested we spotlighted that, but
Yeah,
we're
you
probably not
should,
going
you,
to. But
you
we can
should,
still
if you're
talk.
watching though, you should watch it.
Yeah, I'm planning to watch Running Man.
Wait now. Just do it. Now!
I'm so confused. I'm so what?
Didn't expect that, did you?
No, no, I didn't expect that at all.
Your mother, please. I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Well,
Who
if you
are
want to
you?
have another Q&A, Arnie, well,
Yeah, maybe we can have another Q&A.
yeah, maybe a bonus Q&A with Arnie. Yeah, man, you had my hopes up then. I thought, oh, we're gonna get like a human special guest.
Yes. Hasta la vista, baby.
And he's gone. Say goodbye to Arnie.
Oh, bye,
Say
Arnie.
goodbye to Arnie and his
We
brief
we
cameo
we
on the Hookah podcast.
It happened.
Well, we can make a little short, a little clickbait short, and say we got Arnold Schwarzenegger on our podcast.
You chill. You absolutely chill. I don't know. I don't. I was going to be the one like crashing out this episode because I'm ill. Why is it you? You start eating randomly on the podcast. You do that. What's next? Memes, okay.
Do you know the way?
I, so, is that all of part one done?
Yep.
Is that all we've got?
That's all a part one. I've had my fun.
This is why this is why we don't record in mornings, isn't it?
No, I was going to do it anyway. I had the idea set up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm going to get Nick Cage on next time.
Get Elvis. Oh wait, no, we had Elvis on
We had
previous
Elvis
episode.
already. We had Elvis.
Oh.
At some point, I'll do a compilation of all the celebrities we've had on the podcast.
We'll get who can we get on? Who else could get on?
I can get Sylvester Stallone, don't worry.
Harry Hill.
Harry Hill, oh my god, imagine. Can we get him to make Can we get him to make a second Harry Hill film and put us in it?
We get a Silent Bob cameo.
I feel like one of those isn't gonna do much for a podcast.
No, it will. It will. Because we'll be stood in front like a poster for the podcast, you know? It'll have in the film like it'll have in the film like a QR code that you can scan and it links you to the podcast.
We need to get Jack Black on. This
Yes.
is a podcast.
First we pod, then we cast. Podcast.
Double feature.
Oh God, what are we doing?
Who, us? We're the hosts. We love crushing loaf.
Oh my God.
The Nether.
I am Dan. Okay, there we go. Okay, can we go to part two? Because I think we're just
I am done.
And time for our spotlight film, Frankenstein, or Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein.
As usual, spoilers for part two. Use the timestamps
Yeah.
to skip to part three if you don't want spoilers. That out of the way, though, my favorite part was when he said it's Frankenstein and he franks all over everyone.
You arsehole. You absolute arsehole. God damn it. You are just a brain rot person, aren't you, sometimes?
Skibbity.
Okay, let's crack on. Because I don't really think brain rot really is the tone of Frankenstein. I think
No, absolutely not.
it's not that film, obviously, because I say this literally came out yesterday as we're recording this on Netflix
Yes.
anyway.
Yes, I watched it last night. You watched it this morning.
That's right, yeah. But this has been one of my most anticipated films of the year, honestly, and mainly because of Del Toro's name. Like, obviously, we've talked about Del Toro actually a few times on the channel.
Yes.
I mean, on the podcast, sorry, yeah, which is on the channel. But obviously, you spotlighted way back when Pacific Rim
Back
was
on
one of your
episode
favourite films.
2, yeah.
Yeah, but you spotlighted that. I spotlighted The Shape of Water, where we talked about Best Picture winners, which obviously he directed.
Yes, we had some interesting conversations on that one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's a good film, all right. I don't know what you're
Okay.
like. Like, it genuinely is a good film.
I need to watch it
It
at
is.
some point. Yeah.
You do, genuinely, you do because it's really good. It's really good, and we've also talked about a few of his other films, like his version of Pinocchio, which was his last film that he did a few years back,
Yeah.
and stuff like Pan's Labyrinth I've mentioned before because I had to study that one at school in my A levels. And Del Toro, to me, he's a bit like a Nolan or a Spielberg. He's almost like a bridge of like a blockbuster commercial director. You know, he's done like franchise films, he's done big action blockbusters, but then he's also done his, his more artistic ventures. And he's kind of one of those directors who he's sort of a good gateway to get into that kind of that kind of space of cinema, I suppose. And Frankenstein definitely feels more on the kind of artistic end. It definitely feels more like in line with like Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water, those kind of films that he does. It definitely feels more in line with that. But overall, what did you think? Because you texted me last night when you started watching it, and then you text me when you finished it, just literally just wow. That's all I got. And I want to know, what do you think of this film?
Wow.
Could you elaborate on that, please, son?
WOW.
Could you
Wow.
actually elaborate, please?
Wow, exclamation point.
God's sake.
No, it was really good. I really liked it. The acting was good, the story was good, the characters were compelling, the visuals were lovely, the sound design was really good, the
Yes.
camera
Yeah.
work was good. There was so much to like about it, and it didn't feel like it was long. It didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours long. It went by
Because it is,
so
yeah,
quickly.
I will give you that. I think because it does pack quite a lot in,
I could have
really.
watched
Like
more.
it
I
covers
could have
it,
watched another half
it covers
hour.
it does cover a lot of ground, this film does. And
Mm.
I think that's my takeaway from it as well. Like it is a really good film. And my main sort of not critique of the film, because I don't really think it does much wrong. It's more the fact that I wanted a bit more from it, to be honest.
I'd say
Um,
same. There's a point in which the creature kind of tracks down Victor, kind of gets tracked down by Victor into that cave where Elizabeth is.
yeah,
And there's a bit where the creature says that he's now Victor's master. I would like to see a bit
yeah,
more there before we just randomly got to Victor hunting the creature down again.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe like something to do with maybe the creature trying to force Victor into making a companion. Like I could have taken more here. I could have
Yeah,
taken another half hour. Like it was everything up there was really good. I really like that we get these dual perspectives of we get Victor's
yeah.
story and then we get a stopping point and then we get the creature's story.
Yeah, almost like a
Um,
chapter, like chapters. Because if you remember,
yeah,
like when we discuss weapons, that kind of does the thing of, it splits it into chapters, and you a bit like Pulp Fiction, for example. It does the whole thing of tells each chapter is from a different character's point of view. But I like that it's just the two parts where it is just Victor and the monster, and it is that kind of duality of it. It's very much they are how they parallel, how they contrast, how they
mm,
are kind of almost two sides of the same coin. They are very like interlinked, interconnected beings in a sense.
yeah. I really
You
like a
know,
lot with how they handle the creature in this one. I think
yeah,
there's a bit at the start that's really cool where you kind of see the creature running through the snow and he's got like this black smoke coming out of his coat and it looks like
yeah,
really like it gives you that kind of like impression that this is a monster, this is something evil. But then when you get the context towards the end, that's from an explosion, and you
yeah,
kind of realize that it is a person. But
hmm,
because at the beginning you don't have that context, it makes it seem
yeah.
more supernatural. And I think that's really clever. I think the whole opening sequence with when the creature arrives and starts attacking is
On that
really
boat,
cool. Yeah, because it kind of
yeah,
sets up the idea that the creature is bad, and that every time in the movie, most humans will come across the creature and will instantly be seeing it in like a bad light, whether it's because they'll think it's killed someone or something, or they'll think it's like a threat. But then when you
yeah.
get more time with the
There's
creature
that.
by
There's that.
himself,
There's that good line.
you kind of realize that
Mhm.
he's kind of always just put in a really bad situation by the people around him because he's an easy scapegoat to blame for
Yeah,
things and whatever.
yeah. He's the other because there's that line that where it's like what was that like? It's like they will try and kill you just for being you or something like that.
Yeah.
There's that line from the monster, from the
Mm.
creature. Um, I think that's yeah, it's a really good framing device that does definitely twist it when you get all the context throughout the story. I think it's a good sort of framing device. And obviously it's the kind of framing device of the story being told by Victor and then later the creature. I think it's a very good little framing
Yeah.
device that is.
I think as
Um,
well that a lot of what the creature goes through is quite compelling.
yeah,
He's kind of a stand-in for anyone really who feels like an outsider, anyone who can just be kind of like instantly blamed for anything. I like this idea
Yeah,
that they built on of the fact that he can't die, he can just get hurt over and over and over, and there's no
yeah.
escape from it. There's something really, really kind of like that's in itself is kind of a horror that you're just stuck living with
It's a
all
fate.
this pain and you cannot escape. It's very
It's a
fascinating.
fate worse than death,
Yeah,
almost. Fate worse than death because it's like yeah, and of course that very much builds on the ideas that are obviously present in the original Mary Shelley book. Um, the whole thing of trying to sort of cheat science and cheat life and trying to basically play God, and it's kind of man's hubris of trying to use science to um, basically play about with the force of nature and ultimately how dangerous that is and what it can result in.
yeah,
But and not only that, but also obviously that there's that sort of that in the text, but visually, I also think the creature. I keep calling it the monster, like the creature. Really, it should be. Um, the way that the creature looks, I love the fact that obviously a lot of great prosthetic work on the creature. You can sort of tell all the lines of like where it's different people's body parts and whatnot.
yeah.
Where it's kind of all mashed together basically. But I love the fact that it's not overdone. So the actor Jacob Elordi, I
Mm,
think plays the creature. Uh, the actor gets the chance to really emote through all that. It's not like the prosthetics are burying him and you
yeah.
can see very much can emote very well. And I think that's a really great thing to have. And it's not like as iconic as the Boris Karloff version of Dracula is, that sort of image of Dracula. Did I say Dracula? I meant
Yeah, you did.
Frankenstein.
We
Yeah,
know what
I'm
you
getting
meant, but yeah.
yeah. The Boris Karloff version of Frankenstein, obviously, that is very much what people think of when they think of Frankenstein. But it's kind of nowadays that's a very caricatured sort
Yeah.
of image, and not to discredit that one, but it is definitely sort of a product of its time in a sense.
I
You
mean,
know.
I think that iteration of Frankenstein and that kind of like traditional green skin, Frankenstein,
Yeah,
stiff movements, kind of like half alive kind of thing. I think that kind of iteration is
yeah,
cool for like, if you want to do horror movies and whatever, but it's a very different
yeah.
creature to like Frankenstein's monster is very different to the creature from Frankenstein. It's just,
Exactly. Yeah,
brought to life by the same means, but they're very different characters. But I think that's interesting as well with the creature is that almost every chance he gets, he shows kindness. Like
yeah,
he's just inherently kind, which is is rarely ever rewarded for that. But I really like the kind of dynamic he builds with the old man who lives in the
yeah.
house.
David Bradley. Yeah.
Because obviously the old man can't see, and so doesn't have that prejudice of this is a
Hmm.
giant ugly monster. And so, they kind of form a relationship as friends. The creature gets to learn a lot from the old man, and I think that's
It's
really cool how they did that.
and it's very much a case of like this is the case with a lot of Del Toro's work, but it's that kind of with people who have been historically othered. Where like I've talked about with The Shape of Water, like in that film, obviously you've got the fish creature in that film, which is obviously a bit like the creature in this one, the Frankenstein
Mm,
monster in this one, where it's this, you know, to us, the audience, is this other being. But in Shape of Water, you've got people, of different races, different sexualities, of different abilities, who are also othered, but they find connection with each other and with the fish person. And it's the similar with the blind person who, because of his disability, would sometimes be deemed othered, but that kind of connection with another other in the Frankenstein's creature, it's again that kind of like finding that commonality and putting aside differences. I think is really
mm.
really quite sweet, and I hadn't really thought about it until you mentioned it there.
Well, it's interesting as well that like when the the creature first interacts with some of the people who live with the old man, they're trying to kill the creature, they're shooting him at
Yeah,
him. But then once like it comes night and everything, he still kind of feels this desire to help and try and like gain connection, even though these people have tried to kill him. Like he still goes and collects the
yeah,
wood, builds the pen for the animals and everything. It's interesting that he's just got all this kind of kindness in him when despite the fact that he's like not a proper human by
hmm
regular terms. it's a fascinating thing. But I think what makes it more interesting is because they led with framing him in the prelude as this kind of aggressive, vengeful entity. Then seeing this side is kind of the kind of switch up of that is more
Yeah,
impactful than if they didn't have the prelude and they just went into it and it was just like
yeah,
you're introduced to this version of the creature. But in almost all aspects of the movie as well, the creature is usually pretty justified, you know? I mean,
yeah,
most of I mean, he kills a few people on the boat at the start, but other than that, he's mostly attacking people who are threatening him or
yeah,
like the wolves that are threatening him as well. But I think it was really impactful when like the wolves had attacked the old man. He was attacking the creature was trying to get the wolves away, and then the rest of the family came back and assumed it was the creature that had hurt the old man.
yeah,
And so he always just kind of ends up in this situation where he's blamed for everything, even down to when Victor shoots Elizabeth, instantly blames it on the
yeah.
monster.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
Victor's funder dies, falls from the height, blames it on the monster. William's brother dies because of all of it is not William's brother, Victor's brother William dies as well, and that's
yeah,
all kind of because of the monster's interactions. But every step he gets, Victor just blames it on the monster. Everyone blames it on the monster because it's the easiest thing to do.
yeah. And with
Um,
Victor, because he can't face his own guilt, of course.
yeah, but it's interesting because half the time he's not actually done anything wrong.
Yeah, but it is genuinely interesting stuff. There is something I will say about it, and it's the kind of that I expected like a bit more in that sense. I think because obviously it's a classic story of fantasy and sci-fi and literature and whatnot. I was expecting to because from what I hear, it's quite faithful to the book, which is fair enough. But I was, or at least it's closer than a lot of versions have been, at least what I've heard. Um, but there were some things that I kind of expected they could have gone a bit further with, and not necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know. I think it would have been interesting. Like, there's something about it that they keep mentioning it in the film, like a war. Now, I think this film is set around like the Crimean War, so between Russians and the British during like the 1800s.
I think it is
And
1800s. That would line up. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the war that the film's set around. But there was a thing that I had, an idea that I sort of had that could have been kind of interesting, maybe that if they'd explored it, is obviously with the creature. As I say, it's not obviously born evil. Like was created by Victor, and it's that whole like nature versus nurture debate. If you nurture something to commit evil, it's like because everybody hates the creature. It is this scapegoat, as you say, for all the evil, all the guilt for everybody else. Ultimately, the creature just become vengeful, and obviously in the interlude at the start, which is like towards the end chronologically in the narrative, that's kind of it unleashes it and it just starts killing all the people on the ship. It's almost been instilled to become this killing machine. I think they could have made a kind of interesting parallel with that. And when soldiers go into war, they're not born, as killers as soldiers. They're trained and conditioned to be like that. So I think that maybe could have been an interesting avenue to explore, possibly, and maybe
Hmm.
maybe an
Yeah.
interesting parallel. And especially because Del Toro often does explore certain wars within his films. I think Pan's Labyrinth with the Spanish Civil War. You've got his version of Pinocchio, which is Mussolini, Italy, so like just before World War II. And you've got other films that do that with his and whatnot. I just thought that could have been maybe an interesting sort of parallel, uh, and him bringing his own because he absolutely despises like war and authoritarianism. So that I think maybe that was something I was maybe expecting that he could have done. Um, Uh, but even still, that's the thing. Even though that was something maybe that I would have done to make it better, it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing that he didn't do that. And I'm glad that that was the case that I was engaging critically in that sort of way. I'm glad that the film at least gave me those little hints to kind of engage with and maybe, come up with my own interpretations of it and some other readings of it, you know.
Yeah. I think as
Yeah.
well, like if we look at the acting kind of side of it, I really love the way Victor's
I mean,
acted in this. I
Oscar
think,
Isaac was
you know,
phenomenal.
I think
Yeah.
do we think Oscar Isaac should get an Oscar nomination for that one?
I mean, all jokes aside, I think I think there's an argument to be made because I genuinely think he was fantastic
Yeah.
and really did. He really carried the film, I think, because obviously the monster doesn't come into it for a fair bit, like properly
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, excluding the prelude, like he's probably
Yeah,
like
you
a
don't really,
good third of the way
yeah,
through the movie. Maybe, yeah, about a third of the way through the film.
yeah. Like Victor is the main character, really. Like he is, he's the one who carries the whole film. And
Mm.
aside from the little flashbacks when he was younger, it is Oscar Isaac and the kind of passion and the energy that he brings to the role. Like there's a lot there, which is fantastic. Like he's that passion, that sort of desperation, and that real drive to get to do this. And he puts so much into it, and it's amazing. But that's not to discredit the other actors as well. But you got plenty of others. Mia Goth really stood out as Elizabeth. I think she was really good.
Yeah.
Um, with how like caring she was and compassionate towards the creature, I thought that was very interesting. And she was so she was really compelling. And you have Christoph Waltz as well. Um, he was. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors as is. But it was great to see him. And there's a lot of a lot of great actors um, in the film as well. But there's a lot of great actors in the film. But it's just Oscar Isaac especially. I think is real. He really carries this thing, and it's fantastic to watch.
It's amazing that this is the same guy who gave us the line, somehow Palpatine returned.
Well, that's the thing. No actor could have salvaged that script. But that's the thing. He's given great material. And yeah, that's the thing, like because I've not really seen him in anything outside of the Star Wars sequels. I don't think. Oh, he was in Dune.
Okay, I've seen him in a few Marvel things.
Yeah,
Like,
Moonlight, of
Moon
course.
Knight, X-Men Apocalypse, and he does voice Spider-Man 2099 in Across the
Yes,
Spider-Verse.
yeah,
So,
but I
yeah,
think to have a proper like leading role in this, I think with a lot of weight, I think is really really good.
yeah, yeah. It's probably one of the best things I've seen him do. Because I mean, like Moon Knight was pretty decent. X-Men Apocalypse isn't great. Uh, Obviously the Star Wars ones, his character doesn't always do that much in the films, and by the ninth one, it's not a good showing. But this is probably the best thing I've
Yeah,
seen him do, and it is really good. I like there's a
yeah,
little
he's
detail
great
as well
performance.
that I like how Victor, once he starts kind of like trying to teach the creature, starts kind of becoming like his father.
Yeah, there's definitely that's another thing that Del Toro does about like sort of paternal roles in his films and whatnot, and like the role that particularly father figures can sometimes play, which I think is quite personal to him and his own upbringing. But you can definitely feel that with Victor trying to raise the creature,
Yeah.
and I think it is an interesting little segment of the film.
I thought as well that the movie had a lot of really good sound. Like the music and a lot of it was very
Yeah,
nice, very nicely
yeah.
done.
Alexander Desplat is a great composer. Um, he's done a lot of like Wes Anderson scores, and he's a great composer. But like, not just the music, but also like the bit actually in terms of like music, it's the part when he's putting together the Frankenstein's monster. It's that kind of like gentle, sort of quite relaxing, like violin classical sort of sound, and it's that juxtaposition of creating such a horrifying,
Yeah.
creature. It's that juxtaposition I think is kind of it just creates a very unique mood and feeling. Um, but not just the music, but the sound design. Like particularly with some of the gore, you have like
Oh yeah.
bones splatting and like squelching and whatnot. Like it's really quite graphic and quite distinct. And
Yeah,
to
that
couple
gore
that
is
with
quite intense.
couple that like the fantastic practical effects in this
Yeah.
film. They look is amazing, genuinely amazing, especially with the stuff when he's putting together the creature. It's genuinely gnarly stuff and really effective.
Yeah, gnarly.
Yeah.
That's
And broadly of the visuals, like it's Del Toro is his visual style with all of his films is amazing. Like the colors, like the greens and blues and oranges, look gorgeous. Like the production design of all the costumes, the sets, it looks it just looks amazing across the board. Aside from some of the CGI that can be quite noticeable, that was the only thing. Like sometimes, the big fire when Victor sets fire to the house.
Yeah.
Um, CGI is pretty obvious. Like when the monster's pushing the boat towards the beginning, again, it's a bit obvious. It's a bit obvious, especially when Del Toro is such an advocate for practical effects. It can fit to me. It can feel a bit jarring. That's all. But it didn't take me out too much. It was only because the rest of the movie looks fantastic.
That said, I do think that
Um,
tower was. I really like the architecture of the tower that Victor
yeah,
works
that looked
in.
really cool.
The kind of
That did
Gothic
look really cool.
architecture.
And I love as well, like obviously, the interior of the tower. He's got like that sort of there's the circular window, which is on the
Yeah.
poster, I think, and then in the ship, it's kind of similar.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like a bit of a parallel there, but yeah. And I didn't just visually the film looks stunning. It's acted brilliantly, and there is a lot of thematic greatness, even if it is fairly by the book, quite literally in terms of
Yeah,
like,
literally.
yeah, quite literally by the book in that sense. Um, I think it's still great, and as much as I suppose I was kind of expecting, because I say Del Toro does twist a lot of classic stories and fantasy and fairy tale stories, um, in a refreshing way. And I think the heights of some of his other films aren't quite here. Like Frankenstein's heights aren't quite the heights of Pinocchio or Shape of Water for me, but it is also arguably more consistent generally, at least in my opinion, anyway.
I mean, in honesty, I haven't seen enough of his films to make that kind of judgment. I think the
Yeah,
only film of his I've seen is before this was Pacific Rim. So
and that's very much not in the same ballpark.
they are very different movies.
Yeah. Whereas say like Pan's Labyrinth, Shape of Water, Pinocchio, they are in this sort of vein, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Frankenstein was absolutely fantastic, and we've said it before, but this year, like recently, has been great for horror movies.
Yeah.
Like I'd say, like this Weapons, 28 Years Later, Sinners, Final Destination, Bloodlines, Black Phone 2, of
Black
course you
Phone 2.
mentioned. Even go back last year, The Substance and Nosferatu. In fact, because my dad actually caught me watching a bit of this, and we sort of like watched like the second half of the film. And he said to me afterwards, it was kind of a bit like the recent Nosferatu remake. It's kind of, a very classic feeling horror movie, but kind of not trying to like reinvent the wheel, but really kind of executing it in such a confident, assured, and slick way, which I think this film does.
Yeah.
Retelling a famous horror story in a very slick way and it's as I say, very confident, visually gorgeous, brilliantly acted, brilliantly directed, and there is some of that interesting like thematic stuff that Del Toro's films always do have. So, is that everything we've got to say about the film?
Pretty much. Just how would you rate it?
For me, I mean, I say, bear in mind with a lot of the films that we've covered, we're talking about them, maybe a few days, maybe even a week or two after we see them. This I've literally just watched. I finished watching it 2 hours ago as we're recording this, so it's very fresh in my mind. But I'm going to rate it so far. I'm going to go with an 8.5 out of 10.
think I'm
And
gonna
I
have to
could on
match you
I
on
could,
that. Yeah.
oh
8.5.
wow, I could
Good
honestly
stuff.
see it bump. I could see it going up to a 9 possibly. Like it could definitely go up the more I think back on it. Um, so where would it rate for you then in terms of all the films we've covered? Very high, I imagine.
Quite high, yeah. If we, for the sake of getting the biases out the way, if we say, obviously, Sonic 3 was a spotlight this year. Let's say for this instance, we throw it as a 2024 film because it came out last year. Out of the
Yeah,
other
I mean technically it
spotlights
does, yeah.
we've done this year, this might be number one.
Wow.
Might be. It was really good.
I mean, there's a few more that I prefer over it
Sinners, right?
personally. We
Oh, we
technically
didn't
didn't
spotlight
spotlight
it.
Sinners
Weapons then. I'm gonna guess weapons
and
then.
28 years and even
Yeah.
2017 actually. But Frankenstein's not far behind. Like that's the thing. Like, there's been a lot of great films to be fair that we've covered. So
Yeah, we had a
there's
good
that.
lot, a lot of good, lot of good spotlights this year.
Yeah, but I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it as well. And yeah, because overall, like it was great.
Like I said, wow.
Exactly. That's it. I was genuinely really curious. I was like, what? Okay, what does he actually think of this? Because I'm just
Yeah, I didn't want to
I
give
couldn't
too
quite.
much away. I just wanted you to know I'd finished watching it, and I just thought I'd say wow, just to give you a
Fair.
little bit of
Okay.
something to think on. But I didn't want to give anything away because I knew we were recording like literally today, day
Then
after I
yeah,
watched it, and so I thought, well, I'll save all the talk for the show. But
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
that was good stuff. But I think that wraps up part two.
Exactly. Yeah, good discussion actually. Yeah,
Absolutely. On
yeah.
two.
And just a little bit out of curiosity in terms of, I say you've watched Pacific Rim, you've watched Frankenstein. Would you be interested in Del Toro's other films? Is
Oh,
he a director that you're
possibly,
kind of
yeah.
maybe interested? Because I think, as I said, kind of, with Nolan, obviously you've explored some of his stuff,
Mm.
and in terms of like directors who, yes, they do franchises and big commercial blockbusters, but also do these more, artistic films as well that are a bit more challenging, like a bit more challenging to the mainstream, I suppose, is the best way to put it. Is he a director that you'd be interested to explore the work of?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, he's
Mhm.
the only director I've ever listened to a director's commentary on.
Yeah,
But
he's always he's a very passionate filmmaker and very much. I do get just like a great vibe from him. He's very enthusiastic about a lot of other works and whatnot, and I really have a lot of respect for him. And because the first film I watched of his was Pan's Labyrinth, which as I had to watch that for school and whatnot for A level, and that was as you know, it's a film that I do find quite overrated. It was one that I didn't click with. And I had a hunch that, I'm maybe just Del Toro's not for me because that was one of his most acclaimed films. But all of his other ones I've loved and have really clicked with. So maybe it's just that one that I didn't get on with. There's always that one that
yeah,
you
I
don't fully
mean,
click with.
even
It's
with
like
Nolan,
Inception
even
with
with
you for
like
Nolan.
Nolan, Inception, I think you said maybe
Yeah,
Tenet, there's always like,
I mean, yeah, but it's like with you with Inception because obviously
yeah,
that's an acclaimed one that you don't quite gel with as much. But you
yeah.
love like Prestige and Interstellar, and
Oh yeah.
that's
Oh,
okay.
Prestige, wow.
Yeah, you got
Still
yeah.
amazing. That's still one of the best movies I've seen this year. That was
It's
insane.
really good. I can only
Yeah.
watch that again, to be fair. But I would, yeah, that's the thing. I think it's just because there might be one acclaimed film of theirs that you don't really click with. That doesn't mean that you dislike them as a director. You know,
Mm,
not everything can be for you, and that's okay. But Shape of Water really connected with me. Pinocchio really connected with me, and Frankenstein maybe not as much, but give it time, and it might do. I could
yeah.
there is a world where I could see that happening. So
You should watch Pacific
yeah.
Rim.
I will, and I don't mean that in the piss take. Like, I genuinely will watch it at some point because I do also want to see what the kind of blockbusters that he's done and the kind of more because he's done the Hellboy. He did the Hellboy movies back
Yeah.
in the 2000s, and I think he did Blade 2 as well.
Did he?
I know he directed one of the Blade movies.
Oh, well, I've seen the Blade movies, so I guess I've seen more than just two Del
Yeah,
Toro
I
films, but
think
I
it's
didn't
the sec. I think it's
realize.
the Yeah, I think he directed Blade 2. But either way, you know, I would like to check out some of his like blockbustery films and see what else he does.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I of course will.
Yeah.
I'll recommend Pacific Rim forever because I have loved
Yeah.
that film. It's just, it's so awesome to me. But I was that was one of my early favorite movies as well. That and The Mummy were like the
Yeah.
the
Good
peak
choices
ones for
actually, yeah.
me. You know,
I'll give
like
it a shot.
yeah. But I
And I
think
suppose
that.
what I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think that kind of wraps up
Uh,
the part.
yeah. There was one more question actually, because
Okay.
obviously, Frankenstein, Del Toro, the Academy really love this guy. You know, Best Picture Shape of Water, Best Picture nominee for Nightmare Alley, which is a film that I've never seen of his, and I don't think anybody else has talked about, but he got a Best Picture nom. They love this guy. Pinocchio won Best Animated. Do you think Frankenstein will be up for any awards?
I think it could get nominated.
I don't think it'll win.
I
I
don't
don't think
think
it'll
it could
win.
win because I mean
No,
the
I don't think it
competition
will.
this year is stiff. With for
And
like
that's
I think there's
yeah.
a good chance Sinners could win Best Picture.
I hope it kind of does, but I also don't quite. I don't know.
I could see Weapons getting a
Hmm.
nom. I think it could be another good year for horror. But
Yeah, I can guarantee one battle after another is going to get a nomination. Can
yeah,
guarantee that. Yeah. But with Frankenstein, I think it'll definitely get some love in the technical aspects, like production design, makeup and hair. Like
Makeup.
obviously with the
Oh yeah.
definitely we'll get something with that.
Definitely get
Um,
nominated, if not win with that, because the
yeah,
creatures makeup and prosthetics were just
yeah,
so good.
definitely. But stuff like costume design, set, production design, all that sort of stuff. I think a lot of the technical stuff will get some stuff for. I do hope Oscar Isaac gets some love as well in the
Yeah,
acting
I mean,
category.
I'm
So
pretty
that'd be
sure I
really
heard
good.
that. I don't know if this is true or if this was like some sort of parody, but I think Jack Black got nominated for Best Actor for Minecraft. So if they don't nominate Oscar Isaac, then I don't know what's
I
going
think
on.
I think it was they were trying to push for him to get a nomination.
Please,
Whether or
please
not
don't
he will,
nominate him. Don't nominate
yeah,
him.
he's no, because that will be worse than Amelia Perez winning.
Oh, come on, no.
I don't
Not
know,
quite. Not quite.
maybe not.
Maybe not.
But in terms of the Oscars, we'll have to wait and see. Which
Yeah, that'll be
we'll
another
probably do
interest.
another
That'll be an
episode.
interesting one to do the episode on next year because I think I've probably
Yeah,
seen a good amount of movies that are going to get nominated this year.
maybe. Well, let's have to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to part three.
Part three. On to
Da,
part
da,
three.
da, 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 da. Okay, so
Iconic.
we are for the. I see what you mean. It puts a massive smile on your face. So we
It's
are
so
obviously
iconic.
for the first time in about a year, we are covering a franchise in the classic movie section. We're covering the Indiana Jones films. I recently rewatched the original trilogy, and for me personally, the originals anyway, they are some of my comfort movies. I can watch them any day of the week. I never get bored of them, and they bring if they're on TV, that's my afternoon gone. That's the rest of like the day gone because it's like okay, watching Temple of Doom now. I love them. I really love them. It's like they are the films that made Harrison Ford a proper movie star. Like him as Indiana Jones is one of those iconic film roles.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
like
definitely.
like like Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz. It's one of those like you cannot separate the character from the actor, and it's just proper good stuff. And as they are proper like classic adventure yarns, proper action adventure blockbusters. They were kind of ahead of the time. Like they really kind of pushed what you could do with the big action blockbusters. But they're also got a brain to them. They're also really fun adventure. Very adventure yarns. They're kind of influenced by a lot of the old you know, old classic serials of like adventure serials from like the 40s. And with the kind of mythical quests of like, they're trying to find these ancient artifacts. There's a lot of that good stuff there that's kind of interesting. But yeah, they're great. I mean, Raiders got a Best Picture nomination back in the day. They are beloved films, and they have stood the test of time for the most part. So we've got the five films, so the three originals from the 80s, Crystal Skull from the 2000s, and Dial of Destiny from 2023. We're going to rank them obviously in order from worst to best, and we'll kind of alternate. So let's get started. So, actually, generally, what do you think of the indie films? Just
Yeah,
as a
I'm just
brief,
gonna preface this with that this isn't my favorite
yeah,
franchise.
not as
It's
much as I love them, to be
definitely not,
fair.
no, because I didn't grow
Yeah,
up on these in any way. The only one I saw when I was younger was Crystal Skull, which I think says a lot.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I mean,
watched all of
sorry,
them more recently in 2023. I watched
for
everything,
Dial of Destiny,
and
yeah,
for all of them except for Crystal Skull, that was the first time I was seeing them.
yeah.
But it's not my
I
favorite
mean, I should,
franchise, but it's pretty solid.
yeah. I mean, I should say that I did watch Raiders back when I was about 11, so I've always kind of grown up with that. But the other ones I didn't really watch till the kind of few years ago, but I can always kind of revisit them, and I always enjoy watching them again.
Yeah.
So do you want to start at number five?
Yeah.
Let's go.
And number five, and I think for most people, this is the general consensus. I don't think it's going to surprise many people, but number five, I've got Crystal Skull.
So have
Um,
I.
yeah, I figured we probably would.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like I don't necessarily need to explain it, but the CGI at the
yeah.
end kind of,
It's awful.
yeah, the
Terrible.
plot went a little off. I don't think the whole movie isn't inherently bad. A lot of it has good
Yeah, I should
stuff,
say.
but
I should say I don't. I mean, we'll kind of talk about Crystal Skull together because we've got it both at last.
yeah,
I don't. I don't hate any Indiana Jones film. I don't. Okay, I don't enjoy these bottom two personally, but they're not awful. They're just a bit average for me. And I quite like the first half of Crystal Skull. You know, I mean, I like the fact that it's a different threat instead of the Nazis. It's the Soviets. Kind of Cold
yeah.
War era. It's a different kind of threat. It captures a different element of time, which I quite like. I love the indie films capturing a different bit of culture with each film and different kind of time period. As dumb as fucking stupid as the fridge scene is, him surviving a nuke in a fridge, it is dumb. This series is not realistic, but that is dumb even for these films.
Yeah.
But I like stuff like the motorbike chase. I initially like Shia LaBeouf's character, you know, and I
Yeah.
do like the dynamic initially. That kind of first act, I actually quite like.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think it's pretty
but
solid to begin with. It just kind of really
but then
tails
but
off towards the end.
yeah, then kind of like when they kind of go exploring and go, to the other countries, and when the adventure kind of kicks in, it's not great. It's like I don't know why Marion's back again. Like as good as she is in Raiders, I don't know why she needs to come back. I think what's his name, Ray Winston's character, what's his name, Mac. He is just a twat. You know, it's so annoying. It's like his constant double crossing gimmick is just really irritating. It's just like a bit pathetic. And it's a waste of a great actor, to be honest. And obviously all the CGI is it's very cheap looking. It doesn't look, and it's kind of
Yeah.
overloaded with CGI. It's very Star Wars prequel-esque of overloaded with CGI. And the whole thing with like aliens in the film, like what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
it's just a like I know these films, I know the originals have that kind of mythical element of like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. That's the appeal is because these are kind of things that they exist in like myth and legend, so it's almost like they could have happened, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like even I've got to draw the line at fucking aliens. Come
Yeah.
on, like there's just like fuck off. Well, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
I don't hate Crystal Skull. It's just very mediocre
Yeah.
and a real damp squib of a return.
Yeah. But hey,
But
we've
but
gotten
anyway,
that one
yeah,
out the way with now.
yeah,
We're done with
yeah.
that one. So on to number
Now it's gonna
four.
get a bit more interesting. I'm genuinely interested. So you go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, because I think I'm probably know what your
Ooh,
number four is, and that's going to make this quite
maybe.
interesting. My number
Do you want to
four,
say that my first?
I'll go first. Yeah, my number four
Okay.
is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I had a hunch it was gonna be that.
Now, I've got to
Yeah.
say that the reason why is because Big Bang Theory ruined it for me. There's a
Fuck's
whole
sake, yeah.
episode of Big Bang Theory dedicated to how this movie amounts to kind of like Indiana Jones' role in this movie has absolutely no
Yeah.
impact on the
That
plot
is
itself, and you realize that, and
that
you're
has been
like,
such a
bruh, what is the point?
yeah. No, that to be honest, that it's one of those things. It's been such a common talking point. I will get onto that in a second, but I actually took my number four, Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go over Dial of Destiny because a lot of the reasons I have it lower down, because it's very much on a similar tier of Crystal Skull, very kind of mediocre for me. And the only reason I put it above is because I watched it in the cinema and there was a kind of novelty of seeing Indy on the big screen and whatnot. And weird, it's weird. A lot of the same pros and cons are present here. I like a lot of the culture stuff. It's set in the late '60s with the space race. I quite like that. Indy as kind of beyond, past his prime. Kind of, he's interested in like artifacts and myths from the past. Everyone now wants to, they want to explore space and whatnot. I like that kind of culture element to it. I like the opening, even if CGI Harrison Ford is weird. Um, I don't know. It's just a film that for me hasn't really held up that well. I just don't really think about it. It's very, again, a bit of a damp script. I don't really care for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character in the film. The whole, they're bringing the Nazis back, which is just kind of feels a bit like, okay, what else? It feels like this kind of proved, okay, there is literally nothing else we can do with the franchise now because we've got an 8-year-old Harrison Ford here. We're just bringing back the Nazis because it's like, oh, are we gonna have one in like set in the 80s where you bring back Nazis again? It's like, what? You've got to do something different. And it's just, and then time travel. Again, it's the same kind of thing. It's like fucking time travel, really. Like, I get thematically why you could do it, but it's the same thing of like with Crystal Skull, like Aliens. Like, it's too out there for me for this franchise, personally, anyway.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like now, correct me if I'm
But
wrong.
yeah, go with
Correct me
Raiders.
if I'm wrong
Sorry,
here
go.
with Raiders. Is Temple of Doom a prequel to Raiders? I think it is.
Yeah, chronologically, Temple of Doom is the first.
Yeah. I think there's
Yeah.
like instances in Raiders where Indiana Jones will say that he doesn't believe in like magic and whatever, but he's already been through the whole events of Temple of Doom. It'll just kind of, it's one of those things that
To be,
hasn't held up in retrospect because of obviously the fact that
yeah.
they did this movie and then they did another one. But also
Yeah,
there's
I
just
mean,
a
to be honest,
lot about,
I don't really think you can blame Raiders for that because it's like it's more Temple of Doom's fault that that was the case. Like,
yeah,
and also I've always thought. why Temple of Doom was a prequel, I don't really know because
Yeah, I don't think
it
it
doesn't
needed to
ever make
be.
any. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. I don't know why that was the
Yeah,
case,
I don't
but
know why they
yeah,
chose that, but but
yeah,
obviously that's impacted the continuity errors there of
yeah,
Raiders through no fault of its own.
yeah,
But also just
yeah.
yeah, Indiana Jones could do absolutely nothing, and the Nazis would still
Hmm.
open the Ark and die. So, I feel
That's
like
fair.
that does take a bit of the fun out of it. I also I was kind of disappointed that like one of the most iconic parts of like the entire franchise is just like the opening of the movie, and then
But the
that's it. That's
boulder.
the high point. That is the high point. It's been and gone.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
the best part is when when they bloody melt the Nazi's face off at the end. It's amazing because that part is genuinely horrific stuff, and it's amazing like practical makeup effects,
I
and
mean,
it's like
yeah,
oh
it's
my god,
quite.
it's like oh my god, like how did they get away with that for a PG film in the 80s?
I mean, the
I love
original
it.
three do have the bonus of that they weren't playing around with like CGI for all this. They were doing
Yeah,
practical stuff, and I think there is
and I
a
love all of
lot
that.
of
Yeah,
things to love about that. But yeah, I don't know. Something about
yeah.
Raiders just didn't necessarily hit for me. But
You know what I will. You know what I will say. As much as I might disagree, because you'll see where Raiders comes later on my list. I can actually kind of understand that because what I've realized, Raiders is probably the most vanilla of the franchise. I think all of the other films, even the ones I'm not as big on, like Dial and Crystal Skull, they have a certain flavor to them. They have a bit more. They're a bit more distinct. But
Oh yeah,
what I will say for Raiders, is that I personally see it more in the sense of Raiders is such an efficient blockbuster, and the whole argument that Indy doesn't do anything I do see that, but also for me, it doesn't really affect my enjoyment because A, he's cool as fuck, and and B, sometimes it's more about like the journey than the destination. And for me, there's so many moments throughout the film that I love. You know, so many action set pieces, so like the truck chase, or the bit when he just like nonchalantly shoots the guy.
yeah,
I love it. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah.
That bit's good.
Yeah, I love that bit. So what's your number three?
Number three is number three.
Last Crusade.
Yeah, number three is number three.
Okay. Mine's Temple of Doom. Number
Okay,
three.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
So
I've got all of your picks nailed down. I think I've
yeah.
figured those three are going there. I think I know which way the top two are going,
Okay.
but we'll see. But yeah, I've got number three at number three. Um, I feel like there's a lot about it that didn't stand out as much to me as the other ones. Although I do really like having
Oh,
Sean Connery in there. But I feel like it's one of the ones
it's amazing.
I just one of the ones I don't remember as
Oh,
well as the others, except for the ending with the Holy Grail and
yeah,
you have chose wisely, that kind of meme stuff. There's main bits I remember of the memes from the end, but
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of this movie that I just don't remember because again, we got to bear in mind that excluding Crystal Skull, I've only seen the other four one time, and so I'm running off of
yeah,
one-time opinions from when I watched them 2 years ago.
yeah.
I didn't have time to rewatch all of them, and I figured it would be unfair if I only watched some again and not the others. So to keep things
Yeah,
even, I didn't watch any of them again.
okay.
Because I figured, then we can measure how well they've held up over time.
That's it.
And
That's fair enough.
there's not as much I remember from this one, unfortunately. I remember
That's
liking
interesting.
it, but there's nothing about it that I inherently didn't like. Not like with
Mhm.
Crystal Skull, the ending's not great. Not like with Raiders, where like you can make the case about the plot being unnecessary because of what we've discussed. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing about this one I inherently don't like, but I just don't remember it as well as the other two, which have things in that I do really like. So,
that's interesting.
yeah.
That is interesting.
But
Okay,
again, I'm not a
so
mega fan of the series, though. That's
I know.
is to
Yeah, that is okay.
you
Yeah,
know.
that is
Your
okay.
number three was Temple.
Temple of
Yes.
Doom. Yeah. So this is the jump from Dial of Destiny to Temple of Doom is massive. Like the original three, I love. Now, Temple of Doom is clearly the weakest for me. Two glaring reasons why. First of all, Willie annoys the shit out of
Okay.
me.
Yeah. Valid.
She
Valid.
fucking irritating. She's fucking irritating. And it's like I'm not gonna say the other characters like are like a paragon of feminist like representation. Like they're not incompetent characters, but they are they are strong. They are generally strong characters. Willie just whines, complains to damsel, and just does not do anything of note. And secondly, and probably more seriously, the film has really not aged well when it comes to like depicting Indians. Like it's
The
really
dinner
not held.
scene.
Like I'm not. Oh god, the dinner scene
The dinner
is
scene.
bad.
Yep.
I'm not one to usually kind of bang on about how all films not aged well because I understand that context is everything,
Yeah.
and I'm aware of that, and it doesn't mean that I hate the movie because of it, but it is definitely like, oh fuck, this ain't great.
Yeah, that
But
really didn't age well.
yeah, it really didn't. But aside from those two glaring faults, I love Temple of Doom. I really do. It's probably for me the boldest of all the films. It's obviously the darkest by far, and it's the film that invented the PG-13 rating for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like you've got people getting their hearts ripped out. You've got all this satanic sacrifice shit. It's brutal, but I love that swing in a completely different direction from Raiders. I love how it's a different threat, even obviously there's the dating element of it. I love the fact the opening titles is very James Bond-esque, Indy in his white tux, very Sean Connery and Goldfinger. You've got a whole musical number with Anything Goes, like Willie singing that. I love the fact that that's a thing. Um, I love all the stuff in the final act with like the minecart chase, all the stuff in the sort of underground cult. The whole bridge scene is fantastic. It's amazing action set pieces and whatnot. And I think the best part of the film is the dynamic of Indy and Short Round, Ke Huy Quan himself.
Oh yeah.
You know, obviously Ke Huy Quan's been making a bit of a comeback recently, but
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
he's doing pretty well
his
for
first main
himself at the
role
moment.
for first main role of Short Round, he's an absolute blast to watch, and I adore him. I wish he came back for one of the, like Dallas or something like that, because he's such an amazing character, and I love the fact that you get that a lot in a lot of like kind of 80s movies like blockbusters, like Goonies, which Ke Huy Quan was in as well, but a lot like sort of child protagonists. It's kind of the character that the younger audience can kind of connect with and kind of
Yeah,
it's their sort of audience insert character. And I wish that it'd be nice if films could do that, like again, because we don't really get that a lot, you know,
yeah,
as much.
yeah,
But it's honest. I think that's a great thing for, especially for the younger audiences to connect with, to see someone in themselves in the film. But the sort of found family that the three of them could sort of find with each other, I do like that dynamic of them all together. But yeah, I just love it. I love how vivid the colors are. It's very, the reds and oranges, it's very warm, hellish film, and I love it. It's just those elements that are do hold it back for me.
yeah.
Anyway, you're number two.
Right, number two. Now, I actually ranked these films back in 2023 as part of my massive two-part video of movie rankings of everything I'd watched.
Yeah.
And this is the one change I've made from 2023.
Okay.
Despite that I've not rewatched them, I have made a change. Because I did,
Okay.
because I've switched my top two around after
Right.
pondering on it. So my number two is Dial of Destiny.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay.
So
Because I remember you.
initially that was
Because
my number one.
I remember you telling me that back in the day.
Initially, that was my number one. There was a lot I liked about it. I liked the intro with the younger Harrison Ford. I
Yeah.
mean, like we said about the CGI is a little weird, but I did like the intro. I did like the ending. I liked kind of the visual of it all. I liked Mad Mikkelsen. I think that was Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah,
Yeah, Matt
I
Smith.
liked
He was
him as
actually
the
quite good. He
villain.
he was a solid villain, actually.
Yeah,
I'll
I,
give
I
that
really
a
liked
good
him in it.
performance.
There was a few things I didn't like as much. I feel like we've just alluded to, it would have been good if they got like Short Round back or something instead
Yeah.
of whoever. I can't even remember the sidekick from this one,
It feels,
but
it just feels like they were trying to do the short round character again, but nowhere near as good. And it's like
yeah, they should have just
just
won back. Yeah,
yeah, but
but
basically, yeah.
but overall, I
I feel
quite
like
liked it, and I liked it as a way of tying everything up and just ending the
Mhm.
franchise. I think that was
Yeah,
I liked a lot about it, but I have knocked it down slightly because of I've been pondering on it a little bit lately, and the other three I knew where they stood. Like there was no
yeah,
questioning on Crystal Skull being last, and the other two
yeah,
I kind of knew where they stood. But these two I've been thinking a lot over the past like week or so when we've been saying
yeah,
we were going to do this, and yeah, I've settled it with it this way around because I think Dial of Destiny wasn't quite as fun as Temple, but obviously I'll get on to talking about
yeah,
Temple
yeah.
in a bit.
I will.
But
Yeah. Before I
yeah,
go to my number two, I'd like to just bring a couple of things to Dial Destiny, like to kind of, I guess, not challenge you, but just kind of offer my counter arguments to them.
yeah,
You mentioned like the visuals, and that's something that for me, the more I thought back on, the more I think this film kind of looks ass, if I'm being honest. Because this is the only one, Dial Destiny is the only one not directed by Spielberg. It was James Mangold who directed it, who did Logan, he did Complete Unknown recently. Um, And he's not a bad director. Like he's done some great films, but this film does not. It feels because obviously it's the most Disney version of Indiana Jones because obviously when Disney bought Lucasfilm and
Yeah.
whatnot, and you can feel that in terms of the way that they've made it. It feels very green screen heavy, very CG heavy in a lot of places. And to me, it just doesn't really seem that convincing. Whereas all the other ones always kind of did. Whereas I don't really get that. Dallas Disney kind of just does feel kind of fake and a bit limp, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
necessarily mind things being CGI heavy at times. And I thought the CGI
I think
was
within
decent on this one, but again,
I
obviously,
think within
one
the
view. Maybe if
yeah
I rewatched it now, I'd think differently. But and obviously, this one I got to watch at the cinema, whereas all the other ones
yeah
were at home, and so
same
there's the
hmm
slight little inequality
bias
there.
yeah
But that's just based on my watch throughs of them, and that's just kind of where
that's
I've
fair.
placed it. But I have knocked it
I
down a
think
bit from since back
mhm,
then after it's kind of like
yeah
had time to simmer a little
settle
bit. But
yeah
yeah,
yeah because I think recency bias definitely played a part for me initially, but like over time I've just not really it's not really done it for me, and I think. I say, like, I didn't, in terms of the visual element, I didn't clock it initially at the cinema, but now that I've reflected on it, I do kind of feel that kind of, for me personally.
yeah,
And I think just overall, like, yeah, it kind of does wrap up the franchise, but to me, it didn't feel very satisfying. It just kind of felt like almost like okay, we've kind of done everything that we can. We can't really go anywhere further now. And it's just like, this is what we had to end on? I don't know.
hmm.
Because there's no way they're doing another one.
I mean, better than ending on
There's,
Crystal Skull though.
yeah, but I actually kind of like the last in the Crystal Skull. You know, when he's like, they get married and like he grabs the hat from Shia LaBeouf. I kind of like that
Yeah.
ending. It's kind of sweet. Anyway, my number two. Sorry, I got
Can I
distracted.
guess? Can I guess?
Um,
Can I
you
guess?
can guess.
I want to see if I can get your entire list right. So I knew
Okay.
Crystal Skull was going to be last, then probably Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
The only reason I said 80% is because I wasn't sure if you'd put Dial last.
Right.
Because of the overuse of CGI. But then I remembered the
Yeah.
alien scene from from Crystal Skull, so I knew they were that way
Yeah.
around. Then I thought
Yeah.
probably Temple, because I think you alluded to
Yeah.
it not necessarily being your favorite when you mentioned you watched it again recently,
Yeah.
and it was your friend's favorite, and so I thought, okay, well maybe the number
Yeah.
three. And then we got last two, and I figured that Raiders is your number two, and Last Crusade is your number one because Sean Connery's in it. So am I right?
You're correct. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, the original, is number two. He's very proud
Man,
of
I know
himself.
you so well.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we've known each other for God knows how long. You should do, but
Well, yeah.
yeah, Raiders the original is my second favorite. Sorry, and then it slipped up there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I will concede that I think Raiders is not the most standout film that's ever made, but to me, it is one of, as I said, one of the most like efficient blockbusters I've ever seen, and it is always a comfort film. I can always go back to it and always enjoy it. You know, I love Indy in the film; he's just amazing, and Harrison Ford is just amazing. And there's so many iconic scenes. You know, obviously the opening boulder escape. I love it. The tension when he's trying to get the artifact and then put the bag of sand over.
Yeah.
Um, so all the stuff in Cairo when he's fighting Nazis is great. I love that scene where he shoots the bloke so nonchalantly when he's got the sword and he's just like he just shoots. It's so it just epitomizes like he's so cool. He's just so effortless and it's brilliant. Um, I love the whole quest of them trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. I think it's kind of interesting. And I love that. I think that's the thing with these top two. They are quite similar, but it's the kind of Indiana Jones that I love most. And finding this, mythic artifact of the Ark of the Covenant, and the powers that it unleashes. And I think the reason why, yeah, I know you can make the argument that he doesn't do much, but and the Nazis could have still gone ahead with the plan and still lost. But it's more about like the journey for me. I think I get more out of sometimes, and the payoff to it. It's as I said, some of the most impressive practical gore effects and some of the most shocking stuff in a generally family film that you will ever see. You know, and I love it. And I remember watching the film as when I was like 11. That was the first time I watched it, and it's always stuck with me, and it's amazing. But to be fair, I always loved horror movies, like even back then. So the gore didn't like traumatize me, but it's such an effective sequence to end on. Of
Yeah.
this just a display of absolute godlike power, literally godlike power. I love it. I really do. You've got Marion, who's a great female character for Indy to bounce off. I think they play off each other really well. It also just looks fantastic generally, like the cinematography and just It just looks for 1981. It looks really crisp as well, and that's what I mean. It's such a slick, efficient blockbuster that I just have a great time watching. You know, I just love it. But that obviously leaves our top spot. So for you, it's Temple of Doom, and for me, it's Last Crusade.
Yeah. And
So
curious
do you want
though,
to talk about
how
Temple of
much
Doom?
of because obviously I got your whole ranking right. How much of mine
Yeah.
did you kind of expect?
I mean, I knew Crystal Skull was going to be last, and
Yeah.
I knew you weren't massive on Raiders either, so I knew that was going to be um fourth probably. Obviously, I didn't know that you'd swapped dial from two to one, one to two, sorry. So it was more the top three I couldn't quite get as
Yeah.
much.
But I put Temple of Doom at number one after much
Yeah,
reconsideration. It's kind of a last
I had a
minute
hunch that would be
switch.
quite high though.
But I kind of love it, like we've alluded to already, how different it is from
Yeah,
its predecessor. How it is. I love how kind of how dark it is, really.
yes, I love that too.
I think Molo Ram is one of the more kind of standouter villains of the
He's definitely
franchise.
one of
He's
the most
very
intimidating.
unique.
He's very intimidating, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool having like this kind of like more kind of like supernatural threat villain here instead of
yeah,
just like, oh, Nazis, oh, Soviets, oh, okay. It
yeah,
was nice to have some of the like this felt so distinct compared to the others.
yeah.
And
It does. It really does. Yeah,
again, like we've discussed as early as well, short round, great, love short round in indie.
amazing.
But as we've discussed as well, I see its flaws. It's still number one for me, but I
Yeah,
see its flaws. Willie is not the greatest, and as we've discussed, the the some of it has not held up amazingly, even by my
yeah.
standards. Quite often, movies will have on the front some of these views might be outdated or
Attitudes of like
whatever.
the day of or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, and usually it's just the most minor thing, but this is pretty
yeah. You
shocking. Even
yeah you
even for
can't
me, this is
really
pretty shocking the
yeah
dinner
like
scene. But you
yeah
know, that was very much very 80s stereotypes going on there. But
yeah.
that aside, and Willie aside, uh, I think this was
Willy's
just
Wonderland aside,
Willie's, but I think this
can we
was
get Willy's Wonderland 2 starring Willy from this movie?
okay, but
But those two elements aside,
Rising Side, I really enjoyed the rest of it. I loved the darker
mm,
feel of it. I love the kind of like dabbling more of like dark magic kind of stuff.
yeah,
Again, the
like
mine
voodoo
cart
and
scene
stuff.
is really cool as well. The
Yeah,
voodoo, like the kind of step up of from what we've already established is quite a bit more of a vanilla blockbuster out of the bunch. To
yeah,
we've got a guy pulling someone's heart out of them. Like the
yeah.
step up change here is
I know. Yeah,
ridiculous. And just Temple of Doom just really stood out to me
that's fair.
for
Yeah,
this lot. So I put Temple of Doom number one. I mean, yeah, it had kind of I would say for me, it had the problems were bigger problems than Dial, but
yeah.
the stuff that was better is way
The
better in
highs are
Temple.
higher. Yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like with Fantastic Four and Superman when we were saying the consistency versus
yeah.
highs and lows. I think
And it's
between the
and
two, Dial was
yeah,
more consistent for me, but the highs of Temple were much higher,
yeah,
but the lows were there. But I could
yeah.
overlook those because I enjoyed the rest of it.
That's yeah. That is fair, and it's ultimately like kind of what you want out of it. Do you look for those high points, and does that kind of make the experience in a way? And I guess it can do. Yeah,
Yeah, I think high points, if there's enough of them, they're good enough, can outshine low points.
I think so. Yeah.
It can't in the case of Crystal Skull, but in the case of
No.
Temple of Doom, it certainly
Yeah.
can.
I would agree with that actually. Yeah. And I think Temple is a very Marmite film. You either love it or hate it,
Oh yeah,
and it's one of those where I can understand if someone had it at the bottom, and I can understand if someone had it at the top. Like I really,
yeah.
I really could.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Last
is that everything?
Crusade, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a James Bond fan, because obviously Indiana Jones was kind of influenced by James Bond. It was kind of Spielberg wanted to direct a Bond film, they didn't let him, so it was like, "Fuck you, I'll make my own. I'll make Indiana Jones," and he did. And casting obviously Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' father is amazing. It's a casting genius, and the dynamic that they have is so winning. It's hilarious for one. Like this film's probably the most light-hearted of all the films, like the most outwardly comedic, because they've always had comedic elements,
Yeah.
but this is full-on comedy, and I love like the kind of sort of slapsticky kind of comedy of this film. I really do love it. You know, like when the wall is turning and they're tied behind and all the Nazis there, but they don't see them like spinning around. I love that bit. Or when they go like Dr. Jones and they both say yes. It's brilliant. Or like when Indy's bigging up Marcus Brody is like, oh, you know, he will blend in and you will never find him. And it just match cuts to him just like, does anybody speak English? And it's brilliant. It's absolutely hilarious. I fucking love the humor in this film. And again, it's that different flavor, you know, it's definitely more outwardly comedic, but I love that. But I also love, I think the quest in this film is the best because obviously it's the quest of the Holy Grail, you know, the cup of eternal life. And obviously this film is set after Raiders because Raiders is like the 1936, I think, and Last Crusade is 1938, set in that year. So obviously 1938, 1 year before World War II starts, and you can see the difference of how the Nazis are in Raiders as quite kind of discreet compared to how they are in this, where they've got like the book burning scene, where you've got Hitler in there, you
Mm.
know, you see how much more in those 2 years, how much more powerful the Nazis are, and the threat to me feels much stronger than it did in Raiders, and it kind of has that thought of like, if the Nazis win, if they get the Holy Grail, then it's like you just sort of imagine in your head, God, like Nazis ruling forever, you know, them winning the Second World War and just ruling forever. That's the kind of thought. That's kind of like that kind of grand scale thought that it sort of puts in your head, and it's that kind of literal race against time in a sense. And for me, it was more compelling. It was the most compelling of the franchise. But I love so many of I love the villains in this. I love Walter Julian Glover. He's one of my favorite actors generally because he's been in loads of franchise stuff. I think he's a really good antagonist. I love Elsa. You know, kind of twist on the typical female character who turns out to be in league with the Nazis. I love that. I think it's a great little twist to have of the formula. Um, I love playing the set piece. I love the opening with the young Indiana Jones and how you get to know in this film a lot more about Indy. You know, obviously with that backstory in the opening section, but also with through his interaction with his father, you just because Indiana Jones is quite in the first two, he's quite almost getting not a blank slate, but quite he doesn't really change, does he?
No.
Like he doesn't really change, and that's not a bad thing. It's like James Bond. James Bond doesn't really change in the films. You know, some characters are like that, and that's not a problem. But I like in this film you see these different layers, and you see through how his father, because of his father's love for archaeology, how he was ignored throughout his childhood, basically, essentially, and and it's that kind of they have a very strained relationship, and it's kind of one of those things that's kind of I suppose toughened up Indy as he's become an adult. Um, and I think there's something really, really beautiful at the end when obviously Elsa's tried to get the cup from the ditch. She falls down when Indy couldn't hold on to her. Then Indy tries to do the same thing. He's like, I can reach it. And then Henry, Henry Sr., he goes, you can let go. And I think it's the fact that it's like, this man was trying to look for the Holy Grail all his life, but he values his son more than the artifact. I think there's something really beautiful about that. And it's that kind of optimism, as they ride into the sunset. It's like, they didn't get the artifact, but it doesn't matter because the Nazis don't have it. So, and obviously we know in hindsight that's not how World War II played out. But it's like the whole thing of like, we know that they're going to be okay, and we know that they're going to be okay as like a father-son duo. I think there's something really, really sweet about that. And I love that ending shot of them riding into the sunset on the horses. I think it's just a great shot to end on. And yeah, I really do love The Last Crusade. I think it's absolutely my favorite of the franchise, and it's just the one that I personally get the most out of. But that's just me.
Makes sense. I think it definitely could have just been a trilogy. It could have
Yeah,
just stopped at three, and it would have
it's
been
even
it probably would have been regarded as one of like a contender for like the best trilogies of all time if it had just been three, I
yeah,
think. But obviously because we've got two more now. But
yeah. It's a bit.
well, that
The thing,
was
the thing,
that was Indiana
the
Jones
thing,
then.
the funny thing is, well, you mentioned that as well, because obviously in Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny, they hold because obviously Harrison Ford was a lot older, like in his
Mm.
60s, 70s, and 80s. They obviously have to make the point of like, oh, Indy's past his prime now. They were doing that in Last Crusade to a degree. It's like, oh, Indy's a bit of a relic now, and that's like, you know, it's like we had two more films of them doing that. It's like you don't need you literally you can stop at Last Crusade. They ride off into the sunset. Perfect ending. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's the Indiana Jones franchise. So
There
I
we
really
go.
enjoyed that
We
because,
finally did another franchise.
and I really like that because, like I said, we're not. I say I love the franchise, but you're not as big on it. So I loved seeing where we differed.
Yeah. I do have a possible shout for January, actually. I know we've already got a plan for
Yeah,
next month, but I've got a shout for
yeah, yeah.
January. Watch
Okay,
Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and let's
I will.
discuss.
I'm kind of thinking actually, let's do that because again, similar sort of adventure films,
Yeah,
and a five film franchise as well.
yeah. And this, some of the films in this I do really love as well.
Yeah, I
So,
feel I feel like Pirates may be it's your Indiana Jones. It's like where you really love it. I do like them, but they're not my absolute favorite things in the world. But I do
yeah,
really like them. So
possibly.
they
I
are
mean,
very good.
I definitely like two of them more than the other three. Like, the other three. There's two I watch way more often, but
Yeah,
I do want to watch them again soon at some point. So that could be something to discuss in
maybe.
January.
If anyone's interested, let us know.
Yeah. Alternatively, we could just pick an actor or something like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, or we could do three Elvis movies.
Oh God, that means I have to watch three Elvis movies.
Yeah, dude, you should.
Oh man, you've not
I'm
sold me
gonna
on
get. I'm
most of them.
I'm gonna get you to watch one of them, whether you like it or not. I'm gonna get you to watch one of the
Okay,
Elvis movies, man.
maybe King of Creole someday, but
Maybe.
you said
Or
that
you
one
could
was
watch
good.
you could watch
Kissing
you could
Cousins,
watch Clan no, 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 don't watch that. You could watch Clan Bake.
Clan Bake.
We could do a whole commentary on the
Oh
movie.
my God, not you sending me the drunkest rendition of Confidence on
No,
Halloween.
yeah,
Halloween night, this guy sends me on WhatsApp the drunkest rendition.
yeah.
Can I
I was
clip it? Can I
absolute
clip it?
no,
Can
no,
I
I'm not
clip it?
no, we're not clipping that. We're
Oh.
not clipping that because that's all my self-respect out the down the drain, but we're not clipping that. I'll be sending you as a lawsuit if you do that for
Oh man.
defamation of character. However, he's not inaccurate because I did send him that on Halloween night.
Oh man. But yeah, solid episode.
Yeah, I really
So
enjoyed that.
yeah, join us next time for episode 17, in which we will be discussing Wicked,
Wicked
For
for good.
Good, and some
Yeah,
musicals. We need to figure out when we're
yeah,
gonna watch it.
yeah, we do.
Yeah. In the
Because fuck
meantime,
if I know.
yeah. In the meantime, drop comments. What do you think of the Indiana Jones movies? How do you rank them? What do you think of
Yeah,
Frankenstein if you've seen it? I know it's quite early, but
yeah,
I might give this like a week or two before putting it out or something to kind of like give people more time to see it. So it might be like next weekend, possibly the one afterwards. So, maybe you've
yeah.
seen it, and if you have, let us know what you think.
Yeah,
Let
if
us
you
know about
haven't,
any
you can always
part
skip
one
that bit.
news. Yeah, if you haven't, timestamps. Let
Yeah,
us know what
that's
you
what we
want to
have
see
them
in the
for.
future. Are you interested in Pirates of the Caribbean ranking, Jim Carrey movies, something else? Let us know what you want to
Elvis
see.
movies,
That'll be the day. That's
that will be the day. That'll be the day where we properly sold out.
oh yeah.
See, who would we be selling out to? Because nobody would actually want to see that. So who are we even selling out to?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
But either
thanks
way,
thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
take care.
Bye.